All right, welcome everyone to this week's NUMI Members Night. I'm your host for this evening, Keith Chasson, and I'm super excited for what we have in store for everyone. We got a great event tonight. You'll have about another 60 seconds or so to make sure you're reaching out to your team, all your NUMI members, and get them on this call. It's not one that you want to miss. Oop. All right. Welcome once again. Make sure you type in the chat where you're tuning in from all across the NUMI Nation. Tonight's presentation will be in English, but for our non-English speaking NUMI family, we have captions enabled. So take a listen.
Untuk mengaktifkan terjemahan bahasa Indonesia, silakan klik caption di panel laptop atau handphone Anda semua.
Para poder obtener la traducción en español, es necesario hacer clic en el menú de Zoom y elegir la opción Subtítulos en español.
大家好，如果你想看字幕，请按屏幕底下的 CC 按钮，选择中文。此功能仅适用于直播。
Bonjour, bienvenue à cet événement NUMI. Vous pouvez activer les sous-titres dans votre langue en cliquant sur Sous-titres au bas de l'écran. Veuillez noter que cette option fonctionne uniquement dans la salle Zoom en direct. Merci et bonne écoute.
大家好，如果你想看字幕，請按屏幕底下嘅 CC 按鈕選擇中文。呢個功能淨係適用於直播。
All right. Once again, welcome everyone to this Wednesday night's NUMI Members Night, Members Call. We have a great treat tonight. Our one of the top NUMI crowns, great friend of mine now. I didn't know Karen Justice prior to NUMI. And man, am I so excited that I have been able to meet her. Because when I think of character and integrity in the network marketing space, Karen 100% comes to mind first, because she is the epitome of that. And I couldn't be more excited to be able to share her with everyone tonight. Before I introduce her, though, I'd like to share one of her latest ventures as a co-author for this amazing book, Cracking the Rich Code by Jim Britt. It's a series of books. This is volume 12, and every single one of them so far has been an international best-selling book. So that tells me that there's loads of information that's in there that every single one of us, and I'm putting a plug in for, because I'll be buying this book myself. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Seems like it's solid gold. In addition to that, she's also author of children's books. She's been a top leader in the network marketing space, and I believe as a community, every single one of us are blessed just by the fact that she's partnered with NUMI. That tells me it's a company of character and integrity. So without further ado, everyone, help me welcome our NUMI crown, Karen Justice. Karen?
Hey, hi there. Thank you so much, Keith. That was such a kind introduction. I really appreciate it. One of the things that I'm so excited about is Business from Home has recently listed NUMI in the top 5% of the best companies to join internationally. So that's so exciting, because I just love this company. I'm so proud to be part of it, to represent it. I believe it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I don't say that lightly. So I'm really happy to be here. And I want to make this an overview of how to make an effective business presentation. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice, but also presentations in general. I've got two people here to help me, and they're both authors. Carl Thompson comes from Wall Street, and the name of his book, I'll just hold it up here so you can see it, is From Wall Street to Network Marketing, a Book of Business. And Juanita is the author of, she's a naturopath. She's the author of so many books. I was looking on Amazon today. I was going to grab one to have something to be able to show, but I saw this long list of books. So they're both wonderful people. Carl has brought in so many professional people. I thought he'd be wonderful for you to learn from. He brings in doctors, I mean, ambassadors, really, he really does, government dignitaries, people from all different walks of life, but some really wonderful people. And Juanita has done so as well. Both of them are building internationally. Juanita is the author of books like Stress Less Naturally, Superfoods Heal Your Body, Super Seniors. But she's an expert at presenting to healthcare practitioners. And I thought that would be really something that you want to hear a little bit about. So people often ask me, Karen, do you lead with the product or do you lead with the business? And I kind of jokingly say, hey, I lead with my heart, because it's just whoever is in front of you, you know, what that person needs to hear, what they'd like to learn. So I'm very receptive to who's in front of me. And I think for me, both types of presentations, a business or a product presentation, generally start out the same. I almost always lead with the product and segue to the business opportunity. But once in a while, like if I'm calling on a business, or, you know, speaking directly to somebody that's looking specifically at the business, then I will lead with the business. And so I'll give you some examples of both and how you make that segue. But before I start with that, and I don't know what happened to my voice. I was just drinking some lemonade before I came on the call, and it's done something. You don't need to be scripted or polished in your presentation. What comes across far better is if you're genuine and if you're authentic. You don't want people to feel manipulated. You don't want, you know, sales alert, you know, kind of flashing across their radar screen. If you're genuine, people connect at a much deeper level. And marketing is not about sales or collecting contacts. It's networking and building those long-term relationships. And people can tell when you're being authentic. Authentic people, the energy in the conversation is genuine. It builds trust. There's a favorite quote I have, and it says a lot about me, but it's from Dr. Seuss. It says, "Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you." And I love that, because just being yourself is so much fun, and you make way better connections in your business if you just practice that, just being genuine. Nobody wants to feel like a prospect or feel like they're being pushed. I feel that in this business, if you start off with feeling like you're being of service to people, and we really, really are with our product. I've never worked with any product that helps people as much as ours does. I mean, the quality of life changes that you see are to just astounding. And what I feel that generally leading with the product is more natural for people, because over 90% of people aren't sales types. And if everybody feels that they have to start off making a business presentation, it can be a tremendous deterrent because it makes them nervous. But everyone is a sharing type. And I really advocate using stories because stories naturally focus on benefits, whether it's about the product or about the business, and people can make that mental leap that if it happened for you, it can happen again for them. But it always creates a conversation focused on benefits and a conversation that's more natural, more interactive. But another key, before I go into some of the dialogues that I use, another key skill we have to really learn is listening, active listening. When you give people the opportunity to talk, the conversation is about them. And as soon as it becomes about them, the person is very interested. When you step into their shoes, you learn so much. And when people feel they're being listened to and valued, they in turn will listen when it's your turn to speak. And another thing is enthusiasm is always the attractor factor. I always, put some natural enthusiasm in my voice when I'm calling people. And so I'm just going to give you some examples. I'll say something like, hey, hi, Donna. I'm calling because I'm really excited about something. But hey, first, let's catch up. I'd like to hear what's happening with you. And then as soon as it's my turn to speak, after she's told me some things, I'll just say something light, like I've started taking this great stuff. I'm looking, so much younger. People are commenting about it. Then, I go quiet again. They ask me a couple of questions. And at that point, I can launch into my full testimonial, and it doesn't seem unnatural. And what it does is it focuses on the benefits, but it gives them a chance to ask questions. So I believe a good testimonial breaks down into 3 parts. And number 1, I call it ruin. And I mean, it's just a silly name for it, but it just kind of exemplifies what it's about. It's the negative situation that was happening in your life before you were introduced to the product or the business, okay? And you want your the negative situation to be something that the average person can identify with. You want them to be thinking, oh, me too. I identify with that. That's how I feel too. So with all of your story, each one of these points, you want to design it so that it's me too. You want to tell an honest story, but you want to look at the benefits that the company, the product or the business provides. You want to see the benefits you've received, and then you want to design your story so that it focuses on benefits that the average person would be interested in. That way you'll get people's attention and you'll get it quickly. So I'm just going to do some made up ones here. But number 1 would be your ruin. What negative thing was happening before you started? Number 2 is what happened after you started taking the product or got involved with the business. And number 3 is the fact that you're excited, you have hope for the future, okay? And all of those should be ones that the person listening should say me too. So for an example, what was happening before my ruin, so to speak, I might say something like, I'm telling you, Donna, I was so stressed out about finances because of what's been happening in the economy and everything. I was so stressed out, and it had a terrible effect on my skin. I couldn't believe how quickly I was aging. When I looked in the mirror, it was, oh my gosh. And then I was introduced to this product that I started taking, and very quickly I started looking so much younger. I just can't believe, how much young people are commenting on it all the time. And what's so exciting is that I introduced it to a couple of friends. It helped them really quickly. And so I decided, hey, I've been looking for an additional income source. I got involved with the business aspect of it. And, now the future's looking really, really bright. So that's just an example of how you can take your testimonial and show that because you're realizing that it's helping people and it's helped you, you're interested in getting involved in the business. It's a very gentle way, but it's how I do it. Okay. And all of those factors, you see the way that I phrased it, people at each one of those steps would be thinking, generally, they'd be thinking me too. People want to look younger. They want to feel younger. With my own story, I talk about the fact that I look a lot younger, but I also say, but it isn't just that I look younger. I feel so much younger, and I've got so much hope. I mean, the company really has saved me financially, so it's very easy to talk about that. So again, create your story so that people can make the mental leap that they could have this type of a situation yourself. But it's very important as you're presenting that at some point and pretty quickly, less is more, you want to stop talking and give them the gift of your attention. You want to watch for interest and make sure you don't talk past it. Make yourself be quiet. And, you don't want their eyes to get glaze over, you want to give them a chance, because people become excited about this very quickly. And as soon as they become excited, you have to let them talk. And it creates a natural dialogue. It's a lot of fun, and it goes back and forth. Always remember, you're in a dialogue, not a monologue. So when you're listening, people feel cared about. And as I said, they in turn will listen when it becomes your turn to talk. When people involve me in a three-way with somebody that they're trying to bring into the business, I always ask a lot of questions before I get started. Those of you who have done that with me, you'll see that I've done that. Again, I had a survey done one time on a large organization to see what activated the average person, what got the average person, because most people aren't sales types and they don't want to be, what got the average person actually starting to share. And what happened was what came up was that, yes, people wanted to make money, but more than that, they might want to make money, but they didn't have the courage to go out and do something unless they really felt they were helping other people. So you'll see in my story, when I talk about it, I underline the fact that I realized how much this was helping other people. So I became really excited about adding it in as a business opportunity. So again, as I said, you don't have to have this snazzy presentation. A warmer presentation, a more interactive presentation, a more conversational presentation is much more effective. It can be stumbling, fumbling, but you connect on a deeper level and it works out really well. Just be yourself. So another example here would be somebody like, let's say I'm calling a network marketer that I haven't talked to for a while. We might have been in a company before that there was some sort of, the company might have closed or something bad happened. So I'll say something like, "Hi, Donna, it's Karen. I'm obviously calling you because I'm excited about something, but hey, we haven't talked in about 3 years. So can we just take a few minutes to hear a little bit about what's happening with you? I'd love to catch up." So now this lets Donna talk. And during that talk, she'll probably say something about the negative things that happened with XYZ company. And you just let her know that, yeah, I completely empathize. It was heartbreaking. I've actually ended up feeling so disillusioned, but I found something that restored my belief in the industry. It's healed my heart. It's the most excited I've ever been. I think a company like this comes along once in a lifetime. But then I quickly segue to my story. I'll say I was feeling so worried, financially. There was so much stress. The stress was aging the heck out of me. And, I was looking so different when I looked in the mirror. But then a friend introduced me to this product. I started using it. I introduced a couple of friends. All of a sudden, people were excited. I realized how much I was helping people. See how that's focusing on benefits? This is something that another person could relate to and feel really good about. So remember, when you lead with the product, you can segue to the business opportunity by saying, and this is a takeaway from this, the product is the reason that it's such a great business opportunity. And I'll say something like, when people have these kinds of results, they naturally want to share, they want to help. Again, underline help, because I know it's the big surveyed button. They want to help the people that they care about. And most people today are looking for an additional income source, because the average person needs to make about $1,000 more a month just to be where they were a couple of years ago. Now, if I'm leading with the business, which happens, more seldom for me, I will, like, let's say I'm calling on a doctor's office or a spa or something. Obviously, that's going to be a slightly different, actually a very different presentation. I might, be phoning them or walk in the door and say, hi, I'm Karen Justice, and I represent a company with a breakthrough product in the glutathione space. And I'd love to set up a time to be able to give you a presentation. There's so many doctors and spas becoming involved with this product because it's so dramatically anti-aging. I know myself, I look so much younger, and I might tell a little bit about my personal story, depending on who I'm talking to. Talking to the receptionist, I'm just keeping it really short. But you see what I'm saying? If I'm talking to the spa owner, and then we're going to set it up. So I just keep it short, and I immediately, as fast as I can, try to move towards giving them a tool. If you say too much about the technical stuff, they won't look at the tape you give. And that's even true in your personal story. In your personal story, you want to focus on benefits, but as soon as you can, after your story, you want to say, there's a 2.5-minute video. I'm not a scientist. It explains it a lot better than I could. If I can give you this, it's going to give you a really, great understanding in just a couple of minutes, and we can talk after. If I send you this video, can you find the time to watch it? Something like that. They do. I've never had anybody say, no, I'm not watching your 2.5-minute video. They always say yes, And so I'm sure that there might be some people at some point that would say no, but generally people say yes. And so again, even if I was calling on a spa or a doctor, I wouldn't present myself as an authority. I represent a product. There's this video that gives you a quick overview, right? And so I'd get them towards the tools as fast as I could, hand them, some of the things with the PRP or something like that. So that's how I do it. And I'm really excited to see how Juanita Santillan does it, because she brings in so many doctors. It's incredible. And all kinds of health practitioners. And she's a delightful person. She just is very loving and very caring about her team and everything like that. So I know people love to be around her. And one of the things I would say is, like, just look at Juanita, look at how bright and happy she looks. People are attracted to up and happy people. They just are. People like to be part of something fun. Yourself, the people you want to hang out with are generally the ones that make you feel good. So Juanita is a very feel-good person. So Juanita, over to you.
Thank you so much, Karen. I've learned so much from you, and thank you for having me. It is a pleasure. And one of the things that I want to tell you is relax, relax, relax. When you're approaching someone, just be yourself. And like Karen says, speak from your heart. Everyone is there and they're all human beings. And the good thing is that we have the tools. Before, I've been in other businesses where I would have notes and I would have all this stuff and I'd be memorizing things and be nervous. And now I just go in there and relax. So I want to tell you about the first person I brought in, the first doctor that I brought in. Now, I had gone to a naturopathic conference in Madrid, Spain. And I met this wonderful doctor from Mexico. And we bonded and we shopped together and he presented and I learned a lot from him, Dr. Marco Marin. And the last thing I said to him when I said goodbye was, Dr. Marco, when I have something exciting to share with you, I want to call you. Is that all right? He said, well, of course. I hope you call me first. And so when Karen calls me 2 years ago and says, Juanita, Mexico is open, I couldn't believe it. So Dr. Marco was the first person I called. So here's the conversation. Dr. Marco, how are you? How are things going? Oh, so we caught up and just asked him how the wife, how the grandchildren are doing. And you just kind of talk so that you catch up on everything that's happening in their life. And then you say the magic word. Are you familiar with glutathione? And guess what he said? He said, Juanita, you will not believe this. Tonight, I'm supposed to sign up with this glutathione company. I said, what? What is it nanotechnology? What kind of, he says, no, it's powder. And so then I ask, tell me more about what you know and why glutathione? Why do you want glutathione? Well, because my patients need it and it's great for anti-aging. And he's giving me every single benefit in his book about glutathione. So you want to know why they want glutathione. So long story short, that appointment that he was supposed to have that evening, that he was supposed to sign on the dotted line and go with the other company, I had to catch up fast. So what did I do? I immediately said, can I send you a 2.5-minute video? He says, of course. Once I sent it that video, then I said, can I have you connect to the call with our CEO, with our founder, Steve Scott? He said, yes. And I had to go quickly, because if I didn't close that day, he was still going to go back. So then he immediately, I connected him with Karen, with Steve, with everyone in the company, because I had to do those 3-way calls immediately. He was a tough one because he knew about glutathione and he was ready to sign. Long story short, he did come in. And the next step was that he invited me to his platform where he owns an educational facility. And so he shared glutathione with his students, just in general. And from there, we were invited to an anti-aging conference in Mexico City, where we had many, many doctors who came to the anti-aging conference, and Steve Scott was there presenting. And so that was easy to have all these doctors listen to Steve, and then all we did was close. Out of 200 doctors, we closed over 100 medical doctors that weekend in Mexico City. That was amazing. So now let's turn it over. Let's say you're in touch with a doctor, and the doctor, you ask him the magic word. Always catch up on interest and whatever. And so you ask him, are you familiar with glutathione? And he says, no, what is glutathione? Instead of you telling him, you're going to immediately say, can I send you a 2.5-minute video? Because the video does it best. You don't have to remember all of the technology. You don't have to remember anything. All you do is send the video. And once you send the video, then you plug them into Steve Scott, and then you can do some 3-way calls. Okay, so it's that easy, but we make it so complicated. And I want to tell you about the very last doctor that I just recruited a couple of days ago. He had been on my list for 2 years, also in Mexico, and he had been so busy. And I send out information and say hello. He doesn't even respond. He finally responded 2 weeks ago, because what I did was I send him some info and then I said, Doctor, contesta, answer me. Answer me. You've got to answer me, because I'm going to Guadalajara and I need to sponsor you before I go there. So do you know that I left, came back, and he answered. He called me. Not only did he just answer, he called me. So the first question was, how are you doing? You catch up. And then, what do you know about glutathione? And he told me everything. He's so excited about glutathione because it's anti-aging. And then I said, what do you know about nanotechnology? And he said, well, gosh, nanotechnology is the best. So I said, how would you like to try glutathione in nanotechnology? He said, well, I would love it. So see, you immediately catch his interest because no one else has it. We are the only company that has glutathione and nanotechnology. And then I said, do you ever take care of anyone who would like to look younger? Well, of course, that's my specialty. I would love it. I also have glutathione external. Wow. He was so amazed. He was so happy. And I immediately sent him the video. I sent him, the thing I do is send him the one for Steve Scott. And then and this is what he said before we hung up that day. Send me everything you have. I want to sit here, and before I go to sleep today, I want to learn everything. I want to know everything about your company. And I said, even if it's 40 minutes long, you want me to send it to you? He said, yes, I will do my homework. I'm not going to go to sleep, and we'll talk tomorrow. You see how easy that was? I didn't have to say a word. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to know about the technology and all the detail and everything. Let the videos do the work. In your phone, you have an application where all you do is send videos. And then from there, I followed up with the wife, because then he became busy. And if you have to follow up with the wife, and then she's the one that, okay, she's the one that's going to do the business part. He's the one that's going to sell it in the office, but now she's the one that's doing the business. So it is just so easy to sponsor doctors. And I want to tell you one last, do I have 2 minutes? No, I probably don't. Just quickly, I approached a spa owner last week. And that was, here in Chicago. And I said, okay, this is my first spa that I just walk into here in Chicago. What I do is look around and listen. And I had her just take me through the place, just tell me more about what she does. And then I say the magic word, are you familiar with glutathione? And then she says, of course. So long story short, she called me back today. And she said that it was a godsend that I was there. And she is so grateful, and she's so excited to get on board with NUMMI and share this wonderful product. So once people hear your message, they are all in, and then they are grateful for having you share the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Juanita. And I learned something. I'm going to have a better presentation when I go into spas now and talk to doctors. So it's interesting. We learn from each other. Now, Carl Thompson is one of my favorite people to work with. He's such just a wonderful gentleman. He's so full of life and so much fun. But he's very, very professional. His book, his A Book of Business from Wall Street to Network Marketer is a wonderful book, and it's on Amazon. I'm not really trying to pitch his book, but I'm just saying it's a great book. Most network marketing books, I think they're not really very good, but his is. And so he's somebody that knows what he's talking about. So I'm very impressed with him. And he's building all over the world, not all over the world, but he's building in a lot of different countries. And so he's also going to be having an event in Jamaica. So anyway, over to you, Carl.
Thank you very much, Karen. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Firstly, thank you for being the greatest sponsor in the world.
Thank you.
And thank you for your support. It's just great to be on this call, and thank you for having me. And I've learned a lot from the previous speakers, and I hope to do justice in my time on this platform. I can tell you that I'm often asked, how do you speak to business people? And, I'll say this. Yes, there is a certain way to speak to business people. As you know, as you have said, I worked on Wall Street for many years, and I had a lot of clients in the business world. And business people, they like words like projects. They like words like market share. They like words like an additional income stream. And, I'm not getting technical here. I'm just speaking from a broad-based background. And they like words like first movers advantage and all of those seeming buzzwords that we use. But I do believe, as you said, just being real. Christine Francois, I'll give an example. Christine Francois, who I enrolled into this business, a number of you know her, and tremendous leader. She knew someone who was in fashion. I know fashion is close to your heart as well, Karen, but she knew someone that was involved in fashion, business person. And what occurred to her was speaking from the point of view of increasing the revenues from this customer. Business people like to increase revenues per customer. Customers have many touch points. They are walking, talking bodies of data. There are many different access points. And Christine said, well, I know Angela is her name. Angela, you like to make people look good. How about if you make them feel good and add another stream of income to your business? And it worked. And she's been on your Saturday call, Karen. But once you begin to strip away the fancy words or whatever, then it can resonate. Yes, there are times when you need to use that. If I'm in an area, I'll say, and I'll be talking to somebody. I'll say, look, I'm part of the market expansion team. Business people like to hear, I'm part of the market expansion team for wellness technology in this region or in this area. As far as I'm concerned, there's nobody else in wellness technology. NUMMI is the only one. It's leading wellness technology. So, I'll say I'd like to get some information over to you. And you never know, one of Karen's favorite words, you never know, we can make some money together. So that kind of just comfortable conversation with business people tends to resonate. Now, shift a little bit, because we've been talking about how you talk to business people. I prefer to talk to people about business. That's my preferred approach. Because, Karen, I do believe that deep in the heart of most of us, is the heartbeat of an entrepreneur in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, that does not determine how I approach people. I don't approach people where, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But at the end of the day, that business side comes out at some point, usually. And so from my perspective, it's one of education. My business is education. And I do not change my approach in terms of thinking that somebody who is not a business person is less than. No, some of our greatest builders didn't have a business background. And so if I'm talking to a group, I'll give you an example. In my book, I have a laundry list of things that business people have to get right. Most of us have not been educated about evaluating a business. So we don't need to be pretentious. We don't need to be experts. We just need to be able to articulate and also let people speak. Now, this is a laundry list, and I call it the list of rights. I'm not promoting my book, I'm just telling you how I've spoken to people. And I will sit in front of a group and I'll say, work with me here. Let's design the ultimate business. If we were to design the ultimate business, and it doesn't matter whether it's a business background or whether it's somebody who comes out of another background, it works. So let's challenge, let's put on our business hat. Let's get the emotions out of it. And most people want to start their business safely. So let's see if we can do that. Now, for me, obviously, you have to have the right product. And I'll run through. I'm not talking about NUMMI yet because I'm going to share with you a company, and we will see if this company how it stacks up against this list. And NUMMI, and I'll tell you, NUMMI comes out hands down in every area. So from my side, they're being educated. And usually, if I do a decent job, they will come to the logical conclusion that it just makes sense to be in this business. So in the list of rights, you've got to have the right product. That product has to meet a need. We know wellness, well-being is the need. I'm just saving time here by just jumping across to those points, but you've got to have the right value proposition. Why are we doing this? It's the technology, it's the delivery. That's what we're doing. It's better absorption. Our goal is to make NUMMI it has to be one of glutathione is key to wellness. NUMMI is key to glutathione because of its delivery. Therefore, NUMMI is key to your well-being. They will come to that conclusion. It's also right sourcing. We do not have to carry an inventory. Any entrepreneur is always concerned about inventory. Again, I don't have time, but obviously the inventory or the assets of this business is people. That's the inventory we work with, all of us. And the supply is endless. Yes, I know it's over 7 billion, but it's endless. And the bigger your business grows, and this is in a conversation, the more people you have. In the traditional business world, the bigger your business grows, the more debt you have. Big businesses guzzle cash, right? So we begin to strip away those things. You've got to have the right marketing. Anybody who understands the model here of NUMMI and how they carry out their activities will understand the marketing side, the research, the consulting. Most businesses fail because of the lack of knowledge, the lack of consulting. And I will tell people this, that on Monday mornings, we meet with the corporate executives. I'll tell them my senior business partner has arranged for the executives to come onto our meetings and talk about what they're doing. And I really want to give a shout out, if I might use that term, to President Renner, to founder Steve Scott, to Chris Fowler, to Ryan, because they don't have to come. This is a privately owned company. They don't have to come. It's not a publicly traded company. They come of their own free will and they share from their heart. So when I'm talking to somebody, I am like, you're going to have a front row seat to entrepreneurship. See what business is about. Karen, your knowledge, when you talk about business, right? Your book, I can tell you, yes, I'm plugging Karen's book, Barracuda and Bunny Slippers. That's a book on entrepreneurship. Folks need to understand what an entrepreneur goes through by reading the pages. And Karen, I'm not plugging your book, but I am, because I can tell you, if you read that book, you'll understand what entrepreneurs go through. So let me speed up here. But if you listen to how they speak, it's an immersive entrepreneurial experience. And when I go on Monday mornings, my focus is, what am I learning today from these folks? They're challenging the business world every day, and we see that. And that's amazing. If you listen to Dr. Jerry Shaw, he can talk about a business model and then, without skipping a beat, goes into medical matters. And it's amazing. And we're not paying for that. So the consulting, the knowledge here, and of course the logistics. NUMMI handles logistics, they handle legal and compliance. We don't have to worry about that. Customer service, employees, management team, as I've said, and it's $100. These are the checklist type items I'll talk to people about in a conversation. Sometimes it's just, let's have a workshop, let's fashion a workshop. And these items are not, they're not overwhelming topics, and there's enough knowledge all around for accessing that kind of help. And so at the end of the day, people tend to come to the conclusion that this is the right business for this time, this is the right business for our economy, and it is absolutely the right business to pursue. And finally, sometimes I'll send an article. There's so many articles on well-being now, on wellness, particularly women. I have one here, I'll just touch on it, McKinsey, which is a top consulting body across the world. They consult governments, and one of their publications in January simply said, closing the women's health gap. If women are left to be unwell relative to men over the next 16 years, it will cost the world $1 trillion. Now, if I send this to a business person, I've done this, I like, look, how can we make a difference here? And in the process, profit from the experience. Just send them an article. Take a picture of it, take a picture of any article and send it to somebody on their phone and say, what are your thoughts on this? So, Karen, thank you for sharing those nuggets. I hope I did not overstep my time, but it's just great to be here. And just thank you for the confidence in asking me to be on the platform.
Well, thank you so much, Carl. I know that one of the things I love about what you do is you talk a lot about, economic development of different countries and groups and that, and you teach people how to use the home base as the platform for that economic development. And you share a lot of really worthwhile information. One of the things that I love is that network marketing is the great equalizer. You can have somebody who's, a man from Wall Street like Carl. You can have somebody was an Uber driver, and you can have, the Uber driver might reach the top of the compensation plan before the doctor, just because of the fact that the drive is there, their determination is there. And one of the things I know you teach about is that economic development of the home and all of that. So I know that there's a lot that you have to offer that you weren't able to get into tonight, but I appreciate you coming on and taking the time. And I certainly appreciate Juanita and Keith Chasen. Like, Keith has really stepped up and been helping while the owners of the company are away overseas, and he's a great leader as well. So I appreciate all three of you. So thanks for being here, and thanks everybody that came on to the call tonight. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Keith, because I'm sure you have some things that you'd like to wrap up with. You're muted, my friend.
I'm unmuted now. I was so excited. I tell you what a great members night, Carl. I don't know if you guys and gals took any notes, but I got several pages, and I from Karen initially, the 3 parts to a good testimonial, so important. Ruin, what happened after you got started with the product, the opportunity, and then the fact that you're excited, and then Juanita pretty much kind of paralleled a little bit with I have something exciting I need to talk to you about. You see, there's a commonality in enthusiasm. That's how you get people excited, is that word enthusiasm. And nothing shows more over the phone when you're talking to someone or in your written text better than when you're enthusiastic. So what a great couple of calls. And then Carl came in to kind of, prior to tonight, I said that we would call Carl the closer because he really did a fabulous job tonight. My things, I got the buzzwords, when speaking to business people. Biggest thing I got, absolutely golden, when evaluating any opportunity, is the list of rights. Is it the right product? Does it have a unique value proposition, the right value proposition, the right sourcing, marketing, the right logistics, the right management team? That is so important. When you can check the box off on all those areas, you got a winner. And NUMMI is 100% a winner. What a great call tonight. Thanks, Karen, for bringing the team. I'm excited. I got a lot of notes. I'm ready to go dissect everything. I hope everybody else got that as well. Tomorrow night, don't forget, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. We're going to have the weekly Thursday Steve Scott call for the science of NUMMI. So no matter where you're at joining tonight, good morning, good afternoon,